friends, my name is Stephanie and welcome to Raised on a Garden Pantry. Today I'm going to make a family recipe that's pretty famous, so stick around to find out what it is. So today I'm going to make Grandma Dorothy, or Great Grandma Dorothy as she's known around our house, famous pumpkin roll. Now this is my husband's grandma, and she used to make this around the holiday times, and I have never made it. I have the recipe, I've had it. She gave me this beautiful little book. It's right here, this beautiful book with recipes when we got married, and the very first one is this pumpkin roll recipe, and I've never made it. I don't know why. So today I'm going to share some special fond memories of her with you while I'm making this pumpkin roll. Okay, now the first thing we're going to do is add 3 eggs to our mixer here, and it says you need to grab them. It says you need to mix these eggs for 5 minutes. So I figured let's use my favorite tool in the kitchen is my mixer. I'm going to wash my hands. So the next thing is we are going to beat these eggs for 5 minutes. Get the beaters out, the whisk. Okay, get this going. We're going to do that for 5 minutes. All right, that's been 5 minutes. And next we're going to add a cup of sugar in here. And then, let's see, a teaspoon of lemon juice. Well, let's mix that in. Now her recipe doesn't have, it just has the recipe. It doesn't say exactly how to add it, if I'm supposed to beat it or whatever, but so we'll do our best here. I'm sure we'll be fine. So a teaspoon of lemon juice, and then we're going to add this pumpkin puree, which is 3/4 or 2/3 of a cup. 2/3 of a cup. So it doesn't, you can make a couple rolls out of 1 can of pumpkin. And I don't know why I've never made this recipe. Like I said, I just never have. And I was scrolling through, and I really like to cook recipes that people or family, or there's a story to it. So I'm like, let's finally make this recipe. Okay. Mix that up a little bit. Okay, a lot of on and off with our mixer here. Now, next we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of flour. It doesn't have a ton of flour in it, which is nice. I'm going to do that. Now, Great Grandma Dorothy was born in 1921, and she was raised by her grandparents. And I know she had a sister. That was always been said. And as for that, I don't really know anything about her childhood or anything. So we need to add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I can't find my 1/2 teaspoon measurement, so we will do, oh, no, I actually got an 1/8. So I'm going to need 2 more. I was thinking, anyway. All right, so here we go. What else do we need? And we need a teaspoon of ginger. Which is, ooh, we don't want to get too much. Just kind of cut that off. And then we need 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Now I'll have this recipe down below. And one thing that's nice, I mean, about Grandma Dorothy, she shared her recipes. She, you know, sometimes you have your favorite one and you don't like to, but this is one she did share with me. So I'm going to share with you. Let's give that a good mix too. And that is it for the batter. I'm going to mix this around. Now, as Grandma Dorothy grew up, since we don't really know too much about her childhood, and she just married my husband's grandfather. His name was Earl, and they have raised their family. But what was really fun and interesting, they had a bar. That's what they did. They had their bar. Now, I didn't know her or anything. I didn't know him at this time or anything, so this is all from my husband. And they used to have, I'm not 100% sure, they may have had food, I'm sure they did, and drinks. I would say they would have had food, because the next part of their life went into a catering business. So after they closed their bar, I think, I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna say maybe they retired and then they opened a catering business. Let me give this a good mix again. And that is it for that. Now we're just gonna get a pan. All right, it says to pour in a cookie sheet. Now it doesn't say I'm trying to think, a jelly roll pan. I think there is a cookie sheet maybe actually might be smaller than this, which I'm probably thinking it is now after I'm pouring it in, but we will just try our best and do it. So we're gonna pour it here and we'll just kind of spread it out and see. Because if we did it through that whole one, it would be so thin. But maybe that's what we want. I don't know. That's a difficulty with it. And honestly, I've never made this before, so this is new to me here too. So sometimes that happens. Let me get a bigger spatula. Right? It's so delicious, we don't want to waste it, right? Try to get out all of it. There we go. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe the cookie sheet. I don't have one of those smaller cookie sheets, but you know, you probably, yeah, you would want it thin. What's that? Some little fuzzy or something. Yes. Let's just do it and roll. Let's roll with it. So, because you want it thin, because you're going to roll it, and you want it lots of layers with all the frosting in between. Yeah, I think this is it. Let's get some of that off there. Spread around. So we just want to spread it around as even as possible. Spread it out to the corners. Actually, I think it's pretty good. Now, there we go. So there, actually, yeah, there we go. All right. It's always fun trying recipes. I haven't had this particular, I don't remember if we've even had a pumpkin roll. I think since, I don't know, Grandma Dorothy had died. I don't remember exactly what year, but I think my daughter was about a year old, a little over a year old. So I think it's been about 16 years since since I've had this at all. So, and I don't believe, now I have a sister-in-law that's a really good baker, really good cake decorating, really good. She should start a channel. If you're watching this, maybe you should do it. You can do it because you are fantastic at making those sweets and treats, especially decorating. I'm terrible at decorating. Well, I just am. All right, there we go. So now we're going to put this, let's kind of tap it out. Oh, there's one that's a little thin. All right, we'll see. If it doesn't work out, then we'll go find maybe a smaller cookie sheet at the store. So now it says, the recipe says to bake at 350 for 20 to 25 minutes. And I will see you back. I'm going to talk about Grandma Dorothy a little bit. So hold on. All right, so while that's baking, I'm going to give a little more information about Grandma Dorothy. So where we said she was born in 1921, raised by her grandparents. I have my notes on here. They, as she grew up to be an adult, they owned a bar, and I'm assuming they had food. I know they had drinks, but that's what they did. Maybe there were some other jobs here and there. I don't really know. But I believe when they retired, they opened, or maybe as they were older, they had a catering business. And my husband used to go and visit them at their catering business. And he loved her. Absolutely loved his grandma. And she adored him so much. Anyway, but he would go and eat some food. It kind of reminds me of that Everybody Loves Raymond. The mom's always cooking. But anyway, I just thought of that. But anyway, she used to make like fried chicken and ribs is what they were known for, and side dishes, I'm sure coleslaw. And I know Grandma Dorothy made all the food, and her husband, Earl, used to I think he used to drive the truck. I think that's what he would say. So, and I wasn't around then. This is when he was younger. And that's what they did for many, many, many years. And now I know when his grandpa passed away, they closed up that business. And then she started to going and working at a local restaurant where they lived at, making their cakes and their pies and their bread, rolls and things for those restaurants. So she would go in early and she would make it, and she did that for many, many years. That's what he said. And one time when I started dating my husband, I remember we would go in. I think one time we were going to have some ribs, so we were all excited, and she's like, come into the restaurant, I will get you some ribs and sauce or whatever, and you can make it at home. So we walked into the restaurant, and they were all sitting. I think it was kind of before they opened, and Grandma Dorothy liked to pretend, liked to think that we didn't know she smoked, and we all know she did. But when we walked into the restaurant, we saw her push the ashtray away and was like, oh, hello, hi, because, you know, she didn't smoke. But anyway, you know, we all have our things, but I do remember that. But I also remember that she was such a sweet and kind lady, and I feel that she really liked me because we had some things in common. We all like to cook. I like to cook even at a younger age. I mean, I've always been cooking. And we both loved her sweet, precious grandson. Anyway, and that is what I remember of Grandma Dorothy. She is our daughter. Did get to meet her. Our other two sons weren't born before she passed away because my daughter was over a year old. I remember. Yeah, I think it was around December she passed away. Pretty sure. And so anyway, but I think she was about a year and a half when she was gone. But she was so, they had, okay, one thing that was really sweet, they did have, and I didn't know her when they had this, but they did have a Great Dane named Queenie. And so what was really sweet and special when we were driving to her funeral, my husband, we all saw this Great Dane running around, and it just reminded him of that time in her life, you know. Everything happens for a reason, and things are there for a reason, so who knows. But that was a really special thing that happened on her funeral day for him. But anyway, with that said, let's keep making this pumpkin roll and pull it all together. So that is still cooking away. The recipe said to take a clean towel. I've got a nice fall one here going. I'm gonna take a nice clean towel, and we're gonna put some powdered sugar all over it. Because after we pull that thing out, we're gonna get it out of the pan and remove, let's do this, remove the parchment paper, put a little more in, I don't know how much, and then we're going to roll it up to form the roll. So this is what we'll do, and we'll have this all ready. Okay, I think that's probably good enough. All right, so we'll be back when that comes out of the oven. All right, I just pulled this out of the oven, and I think this turned out really well. I did it for 20 minutes, so that's it. Okay, so the next thing it says, you know, we have our powdered towel here, so we're gonna lift this out of the pan, and we're going to, put this right on our towel here. So that was it. And now we're gonna take off this parchment paper. We're gonna we'll get it off very carefully. Here, that was a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be. So we'll get this all off. Okay, carefully. We don't wanna rip it or anything, but it should be fine. Hey, it's working. Oops, see, got a little bit there. I think it was a little thicker right there. I'm gonna come over on this other side. All right, let's get this off the edge. There we go. Oh, it's a little bit stuck right here. I'll just carefully keep pulling it off. It should come right off. There we go, perfect. Now, you have to do this while it's still warm, not a hurry, but you want to fold this up. Definitely while it's still warm, and we just want to roll it, and then we're going to let this sit until this is completely cool. And after it's completely cool, then we will fill it. But now, while this will cool, we're going to make our frosting. So I'm going to set this, where's the edge? It's right here. Let it sit on that edge. I'm going to keep it right back there. Right back in the corner. Okay, we have our pumpkin cooling. So next we're gonna make the frosting here. So we need a cup of powdered sugar. I'm gonna sift it because powdered sugar is clumpy. So you might want to do that if you have it so you can see it clumpy. Or I do have a sieve you can use too, or you can shake it too. That might have been a little easier. But you know what? I like to make work for myself. I didn't have a paper plate or anything. I probably should have done it just so you could dump it in there, but that is it. See the little clumps in the bottom there? That would have made it difficult to blend, I think. There. All right, we got that in. Now we want a cup of powdered sugar. We want let's say 3/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla. So here's half. Oh, do I have of that one? A little bit more. All right, and then we have 4 tablespoons of softened butter, and softened, we have a brick, 8 ounces of softened cream cheese. And there we go. Now, I was blessed enough to get a lot of Grandma Dorothy's cookbooks and her recipes that she has handwritten. That was really a nice thing that I have received from her and enjoying looking at a lot. Okay, so we got the powdered sugar, vanilla, cream cheese, and butter. Now we're going to mix this up and make for the filling. Okay, let's get that moved around in the bottom. Now, if you have a hand mixer, that would be fine. You could do this by hand as well. One of those hand blenders, that would work good. Actually, that might even work a little bit better because you can get that mixed in. Now, this doesn't have any liquid in it, it says, so no liquid. So I gotta get down in there. I got the short spatula again. I need a short spatula, like a little one that's longer. I'll have to look for one of those. That would be nice. There we go. All right, ooh, it came together really good. So here, let's make sure, because then my fingers wouldn't get so busy. Oop, a little bit down on the bottom. It's a thing with the stand mixer. It gets that way. You have to scrape it down. But yeah, that looks really well. So I'm gonna give it one more mix, and then we'll continue letting our pumpkin roll cool. It's right back there. And then when it's all ready, we'll pull it all together. We'll see you very soon. All right, so this has cooled. Now we're going to do it on my cutting board here. We're going to carefully unroll this. Carefully. It's a little carefully. All right, and now we're going to spread the filling in here. Let me go get the offset spatula. My offset spatula. Now we're going to spread this on here. So there we go. I think the hardest part of this whole recipe is just waiting for this to cool. It was very, very, very simple. I don't know why it's taken me so many years to try this recipe. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know, probably just wasn't thinking about it. Okay, so you want to be careful. You want to get this all in here. This spread around nice and even all the way in here. Okay. The nice thing with this is that it's already cooled, so we can roll it up and we can try it. So there we go. Get this all in. Get that in there. Now we're gonna roll this back up, just like so, and it should roll up pretty good because that's the way, that was the whole point of doing that. So carefully roll it up, get it in. That worked really well. Look at that. All right, here we go. We got it. Look at that. And I'm gonna transfer this right to the cutting board. There, and there is our pumpkin roll. I'm gonna get my serving platter right here. I think for nice presentation, you'll wanna trim off these ends here. Get it. Let's save those. You can have those as a little snack. Those are a little rough. Turn this around. Get that trimmed off. Yeah, hopefully I got it in. There we go. Now, so I'm gonna cut off a couple slices. Let's cut down the middle. Let's see how it looks. Oh, look at that. It looks great. See? Looks wonderful. All right, let's cut a couple slices here. Oh, this is so good. Now, to finish it, you could definitely sprinkle some fresh powdered sugar over this. I'm just going to kind of set it like that, and we will trace those. So let me get a plate, and we will try that up. All right, we'll just dust a little fresh powdered sugar on there. And look at that. It came out really beautiful. And you watched me. It was not hard to make. And here we go. Great Grandma Dorothy's pumpkin roll. Let's give it a try. All right, here it is. Let's give it a try. Now remember, I have not had this in probably 16 years. So here we go. That is so good. And it was so easy. Why haven't I done this earlier? I don't know, but thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening to my memories about Grandma Dorothy, and we'll see you in the next one. You have a great Thanksgiving.